Alright guys, so this would be day 3 on this project. Remember how I said it's going to rain today? Well, there's liquid. So Kurt's going to be working in here on NK Garage. As usual, I'll give you the spiel. The link to his channel is down in the description, so check him out if you like tools. And check out our eBay store if you need any tools to buy. Fitz just got here. But if you take a look outside, you'll see we thought it was going to be raining. Well, I guess it's snowing. It is November 1st, and it is 35 degrees out. And my neighbor's kid is riding around on his little toy Jeep. So, me and Fitz are going to go get the trench, the French drain trench filled with the 1s and 2s, fold the fabric over to do the burrito, and that's basically as far as we're going to get today. I don't want to start any extra digging while it's precipitating. That's just going to give the ground way more chance to get all wet and nasty, and I don't feel like having to dig out a whole bunch of extra soil that we don't need to. So tomorrow we'll focus on starting the wall, but let's get to the quarry, get some stone, and get to the job. Now that's what I like to see. 349F. That thing is huge. I think if we had that on our job Fitz, we'd be done, right?
Oh yeah.
Let's get some rock. Well, the snow is still coming down, 34 degrees. We just got 6.35 tons of stone. So we're walking out of here today with 28,700 pounds, full truck and trailer loaded. And if for anybody wondering, it cost us $205. So not too bad. I said this is they call it 1 1/4 inch, but it's basically a 1 to 2 inch stone mix. That's what we like using for our French drains. We feel that flows the water the best. You could use 3/4 inch clean stone as well. But especially for something like this where it's a super wet spot, I'd rather have the larger stones. That makes a bigger gap in between every stone for a little bit more water storage. Alright, so we're back on site. Everything looks alright. It's just very wet. The gutter drains are working and they are outletting down there. So we have enough slope. I mean, I would hope so. We have 30 inches of drop over this whole thing. Actually more by the time we got to the end. We're probably almost 40 inches down. So excavator's been warming up for a few minutes here. Yard max has been warming up. We're gonna unload the first bit of stone with the excavator as far as I can reach, and then I'll basically load Fitz up and we'll take the yard max down and we'll fill this trench. So we just got the first 10 to 12 feet or so done. Now Fitz is gonna hop in the trench. You can see with the yard max, I'll load him up and then he'll slowly work his way forward. I'll hop out and help him rake down the line. So what we've done here is we've taken the tailgate off of the front of the yard max. Normally I'd put 2 scoops in the yard max, but then taking the tailgate off takes so much time and having to put it back on, realign it and everything. So we've taken it off and I'm only doing 1 scoop in the yard max. So he can basically just go back and forth, and fill that trench up. So it's working out really, really good. Never complain when I can back the dump trailer right up to where we're working. You know, a lot of larger contractors would have something called a bedding box, which is basically just, it almost looks like a funny shaped dumpster that you'll load stone into so the excavator can scoop out of it. In our case, we have a bedding box behind our truck at all times and it has wheels on it. So if I can get the truck and trailer to the location, I can scoop right out of the trailer. And it makes for a really, really quick and easy way to transport material and get it spread. So you can see Fitz is up there, he dumps the material, and it just works out really good. We're not making a mess, we're not spilling anything. You know, it's great to have the excavator right here to load the first 10 feet, but I'm not going to drive up and down this trench. It would make such a mess. And the only other way to do it would be with like a skid steer and a side dump bucket, if you're trying to do the least amount of lawn damage. And even then, we'd have to take out half this garden bed and there would be a lot of lawn damage. At the end of this, the lawn will have 0 damage. The only damage will be in the garden area that's just going to get raked out and mulched. So keep on scooping, keep on filling, and this is going to go really quick. Alright, so Fitz is back in the yard, max out of there. I'd say we might have 3/4 of a ton, half to 3/4 of a ton left, something like that. Pretty good on the math. I mean, they gave us a little more than we asked for at the quarry. Alright, so everything's stapled down, folded over, so our excess is towards the walkway. Now I tried the method that I've seen on the internet. It kind of works. So if you take a blowtorch, it will cut the edge. Now this tarp, this is an 8-ounce tarp. This is super heavy duty. It's even hard to stab through with the staples. Very thick, but it is soaking wet, so you kind of have to heat it up, dry it out, and then cut it. And it works, it's just not as fast as the big scissors. So we're gonna go down the line, trim that to width. So everything is trimmed. That is done. So we're gonna dump the remaining stone that's in the trailer, just on the driveway next to the skid steer. I assume we're gonna find some unsuitable native soil here. That area where the excavator's sitting, number one, is super wet, but number two, their original paved driveway was really bad over here. it's settled quite a bit. So between talking with the paving company, we think that this area may have been some nasty fill or something. We did find some roots somewhere in this area that were not from the tree. They were old, like decomposed roots, so maybe there's a tree or stump over there. So when we strip that unsuitable soil out of there, we might fill it with some of our extra gravel. So we're just gonna dump it here for now. And sun is kind of coming out, but we'll get back to this tomorrow. So as usual, I'll see you again in the morning. Good morning, guys. It's Thursday, so that'll be day number 4. It's a brisk 28 degrees out this morning. Not happy about that, but it's crazy. Last week, you know, October, it was 80 degrees. And here it is 1 week later, 28 degrees. This morning, we got to unload some beautiful boxwoods. This is for a separate project. We're going back to Tivoli again. It's always something to do there. So we picked these up yesterday because it was a little bit of a snowy, rainy day. So let's get these unloaded. We got to grab a couple of pipe supplies for screeding today, because we're going to be screeding out for retaining wall blocks, and then we're going to go to the quarry and get some stone. So we got 6.15 tons of 3/4. So that looks real nice. You may notice in our bed that we have accumulated some goods. We now have a new lawnmower and a new pressure washer. So a Honda powered Craftsman lawnmower and a Subaru powered Subaru pressure washer that is apparently electric start. That's interesting. We picked these things up because Honda motors are great. You really can't kill them. We've had very few Honda motors actually go bad. So this one's missing a couple parts, but I'll get it running. And that's a Subaru engine there, but parts are parts, and they're good for eBay. So that's where the NK Garage comes in. We're back on site. Just as we rolled up, the other contractors came to grab their skid steer. They were kind of trapped. The wheeled skid steer sunk into the ground. I guess they came the other day to try to grab it, and they couldn't get it out. So I just used the excavator, kind of pulled them out of there. But now we have to basically map out where our wall is going to go, get everything squared up. So like I said, the front face of the wall is going to be even with the outside wall of the house there, and it's going to go exactly perpendicular to this front face, 30 feet out. So we're going to map all that out, then we're going to have to dig all this unsuitable soil out of here, dig this all to grade, get it compacted. These stairs are coming out too, so I might just push those down the hill a little bit just to give us some room, and then we'll start digging and putting stone down. All right, so everything has been marked out and set up, so you can just barely see our orange lines mapping out the width of our excavation. Laser level is set to the proper depth. Now this whole wall is going to be 2 courses. take a look where we're at. Look at all the excavated material that came out. We got some huge rocks in here. This guy was right next to the foundation. We never like seeing that, so he's out. Whole trench is dug out. We're at 3.5 feet in width and 30 feet from the foundation of the house, actually 32 feet from the foundation of the house all the way out. You can see we exposed our pipe here. So we're gonna get this kind of cleaned out, and since this ground is a little wet, I'm not gonna be able to run the plate compactor directly over the ground. It'll just start pumping and pushing that water right up. So I have a little bit of extra 1s and 2s from yesterday. We're gonna sprinkle like a real thin coat, 1 inch or less, or basically a thickness of a rock, 1 to 2 inch, on the ground here. And that'll give the plate compactor something smooth to run over, and we'll get that kind of packed in. It might raise a little bit of water, but I'd rather get that packed in and get this base layer compacted as best as possible to start with. All right, guys, so we have our 3/4 base basically in specs. We are going to do 3/8 as a leveling course on top of this. So our stairs are going to get installed with 3/8. That's generally how we do it. So if we're going to get the 3/8 stone for that, might as well get it for this too. We just have to dump our excess 3/4, which will be used as a backfill for the wall. So we want 1 foot of backfill material. So let's go do that. So we're back here with a nice fresh load of 3/8 inch gravel. Getting our screed rods laid in. Like I said, we're going to do this just like we do a unilock patio or a retaining wall. So we'll lay those things out side by side, and then we'll pour a little gravel on each end of them, lift them up to the right level, and then we can fill them in and use our screed rake to pull that all out, and we'll be left with a perfectly level base ready to install our blocks on. So if you're curious if a Kubota KX033 will lift a Redi-Rock block, there you go. So I'm just pulling up the, there we go. So this is the cobblestone limestone. This is 1,740 pounds. This is the bottom block right there. 1,740 pounds. Now, I cannot lift it any more than that. It is just barely off the ground, so I'm just barely gonna be able to set it. These are the heavy blocks because they're at the bottom. They're fully cast, versus the top blocks are scalloped like that one. So let's set our first base block. I actually think this is our second one. I gotta grab a half, but I just wanted to test this out real quick, and let's start setting some wall blocks. guys, first course of the wall is in. You can see we ended this row with a half block, so that means we're going to start the top row at the house with a half block. So all this will be underground for the most part. In here it gets a little low, so you might see a third of the block. Otherwise, it's looking really good. I'm amazed with how the KX was able to set these. I saw on Instagram, I can't remember the company, but they basically hook the chain to here and then run it through the gripper. And after I did that, I was able to curl a little better and get the block closer to the machine. So it worked really well. I'm very happy with that. What we're going to do now, well, we have the back of this exposed. We're going to backfill this trench so we can get gravel in between all those little V's. Just with our experience from doing unilock projects, if you don't backfill that really well, over time soil will erode down into those gaps, or gravel, anything really, and that'll cause your top layer, whether that be patio, pavers, or in this case asphalt, it'll slowly settle over time as those fill up. So we have our extra gravel, we're going to backfill into there, and once that's backfilled, we're going to cap this with the top sections. That was like record time. That only took I don't know, that's perfect, hour and 15 minutes, and they said it's very straight. So awesome. Let's backfill. So the wall is backfilled basically to the top of the blocks. I still have a little bit left for backfilling the top of these. We got a half top block going up against the house there. So we have this set so that the top of the wall is 2 inches below the height of the garage, so that they can slope the pavement away from the garage. So it'll be a little bit of a ramp getting up into the garage, but we want that so everything slopes away, because this whole wall is level in the left to right direction. So we want them to be able to slope down a little bit on the edge and eventually slope that way. So here we go. We are done for today. Dump trailer is staying here because it's got a load of gravel that I don't feel like toting back and forth to go home. It's all chalked. Wall is built. That went a lot faster and a lot smoother than I thought. So it's funny, if you look at the back of these blocks, they're all like super uneven. And that's not really what matters, I guess. Even that third from last one, the back is like cocked off at an angle, but the front face is straight. Now these blocks aren't perfect. If you've watched anybody's videos, I watched some Dirt Perfect videos where they set similar blocks. I don't know if they're Redi-Rock. These blocks are very hard to work with sometimes because they are so uneven, but that variance, as long as you account for it, the front face is perfectly straight. We've string lined it, both the bottom and top. Just doesn't look perfect along the top with the little scalloped lip. But once this is paved up against, so basically they're gonna pave right flush with this right here, maybe even a little high with a little edge on it. So that'll look perfect. So like I said, front is perfectly straight. I backfilled kind of this front-ish section with some more of the topsoily material. We still have quite a bit of native good material to spread out. What I have to do, I explained, is I have to core this section of driveway out because this is all unsuitable material. You can see how kind of topsoil it is. It's not good for a driveway, so all that has to get dug out and replaced with this good stuff, because we're basically going to be filling at least up to the bottom or top section of these blocks all the way through here, so they can put down a little bit of item 4 and asphalt. So I will see you guys tomorrow.